This is Pop Culture Confidential, and I'm Christina Yerling Biru. Hello and welcome to the show. This is our Oscar nominations breakdown, which just happens to be my 500th episode of Pop Culture Confidential, and it feels pretty perfect to be talking Oscars with my friend and returning guest, the man the Academy would never snub, from Awards Watch, Mr. Ryan McQuade.
Miss 500, how are you?
I'm feeling great. Can you believe it?
500 episodes. I was going to do like a really cheesy like poem, but I couldn't rhyme fantastic and wonderful and beautiful and all those wonderful, just hyperboles and everything and compliments all at once. So I'm just going to say it to you. You're the best. This is the best show. All you listeners out there, you need to be telling your friends, tell your neighbors, screaming on the fucking rooftops that Christina does the best. You deserve the world and then some. The show is fantastic. I'm just lucky to be a part of it every now and then. And yeah, 500.
Thank you so
Let's do
much.
500
more.
more and more and more. Let's get it. Let's get to 5,000. Hell, let's shoot for the goal.
And I wrote a little bit on Instagram, but I'll say it as well because, thank you so much for being, such a frequent collaborator. It makes so much fun. Thank you to all the listeners and the incredible guests that have been on. And this is really, the most fun I have is doing Pop Culture Confidential, and I wish I could do it even more and grow even more. So thank you for this. But what we're here to talk about is Oscar nominations. We're going to be talking about some historic milestones that happened yesterday that came up. We're going to be talking some stats, but I want to start off by asking you to tell me the one most shocking moment for you yesterday at the announcement.
The most shocking announcement, pick one. Avatar in costume design.
That was a good one.
The fuck? Like okay. I was predicting some other things to get in there. I saw on Gold Derby, the expert app or whatever, there's a bunch of betting apps and a bunch of ranking apps. I saw I think a dozen people on all these combined sites pick it, and these are of thousands. We're talking thousands of people. That means there are 12 big Jim fans out there that's stupid enough to pick this to get in, and it got in, and it doesn't really make a hell of a lot of sense unless it's all the costumes.
Explain it. Did they make the costumes and then?
Sure. I don't know. I don't think so, because a lot of what they wear, is CGI. A lot of what this is so stupid. A lot of what Avatar does is they motion capture everyone, but I wouldn't say they're in costumes unless you're talking about, I don't know, the military and what Edie Falco's wearing and what Spider's wearing, his little loincloth. But that's stuff we've seen before. So it literally makes no sense. And the Costume Guild does not have a bake-off. I'm sure they have, little presentations, out there on Disney's website. But Christina, it is the most baffling nomination on the morning, because we're not talking about Frankenstein, where, yeah, they use CGI for that. And yes, there's makeup, but clearly they also made these incredible costumes, or same with Sinners. But my God, this is like taking a video game and saying, best costumes. Sure, go on ahead. Production design makes total sense. It honestly, I'm not one for conspiracies, but I'm is this a typo? Is there
something happened here?
Is something happening there? So yeah, that was it's still the one where I sit here, and when they read them out on the night in the category, and it most likely goes to Frankenstein, I'm going to sit there and I'm going to go, Uh, it still doesn't make any sense.
No.
Like it's Avatar.
Hopefully we'll
Like
get some sort of article about this
it's
or
got
site
there's
that I mean there's going to be
somebody's gonna interview the costume
of
designer for
course.
Avatar, and it's gonna be it'll probably be the wonderful Jazz 10K over at Variety, or it'll be somebody at Gold Derby or Hollywood Reporter, somebody, and they're gonna have to justify what they did on this movie. Like, I'm not undercutting these great artisans, but like, my God, I'm like, most of this they do on a computer.
Yeah,
Which,
yeah.
if we all find out that this is on a computer and they have to revoke it, might be the funniest thing I've ever seen.
It could be. This it may not be the last we hear of this, that's for
What about
sure.
you? What was like the oh my God moment of the morning for
Well,
you?
that was the one, but then I'll have to say I was shocked at Paul Mescal.
Yeah,
But at the
I would.
same time, it was a strange feeling because I'm also very happy for Delroy,
So like, okay,
right?
this is the thing, and okay, we're 24 hours away from these nominations. And actually, Christina, I think it's perfect that we're 24 hours away from it because I'm going to, and we did a reaction show and I was much more calm on that at awardswatch.com. This is when you get me
You've pumped
really
up
going.
now.
People need to calm the fuck down. People need to calm the fuck down. Seriously, it is ridiculous the hyperbole that has been put out there in the last 24 hours. And I'm not talking about crazy Oscar following fans on Twitter and Instagram. I'm talking about accredited, paid salary journalists that cover this thing. Y'all need to sit down and calm down and shut up. Like, you guys have gone crazy over these nominations, which are great. And there, you know what? I love that Delroy Lindo is nominated
I do
because
too. That's
I
that's
think that it is kind of what the Oscars are built for. Some wild performances to sneak in there to shock the senses. Yes, snubs happen all the time. We haven't really had a big major snub in categories in a long time. And we can get into a second here about Paul and some of the other acting, surprises, snubs, just misses. I think the best way to also say is misses,
yeah.
because like for some people, this isn't a snub. Like a lot of people don't like Hamnet, like you and I. A lot of people love Wicked, and I wouldn't say that that's a snub. I would say like, thank God we don't have to deal with that
Yeah,
shit.
and that one
But
got
people
zero,
would
so
say it's a snub. But the last 24 hours have been absolutely insufferable from people covering this. And it has been insane to watch because, you act it like we're acting like we can't handle receiving news. You know what I mean? Like, and no, just because we can't even celebrate Delroy Lindo or even be thinking for 20 minutes, let alone a day, how good this nomination is for him, his career, the makeup for Defy Bloods, his incredible work on The
oh,
Good Fight.
he's
You know,
definitely so worthy. It was
yeah.
just that I was not expecting that name, and it doesn't
No, I
mean that it
wasn't
was
either.
like
He missed SAG.
it's not the costume designer in
BAFTA,
Avatar.
yeah,
So I
no,
this is
that one's just like, what are we doing?
yeah.
Delroy, I mean, made sense because it was he had done a lot of those Q&As with the actors. He was front and center right next to Michael B. Jordan. He did a Q&A in Los Angeles solo, him and Denzel Washington, where
Yeah.
Washington talked about their experience working on Malcolm X together and saying this is the one of the finest actors we have working today, period. I think that resonates. I think that it also helps that Sinners is a popular film. And
Yeah,
I think that
16 nomination. Historic, just for the
I
listeners who
think
don't know, an absolutely historic nomination. In the 98 years of the Oscars,
exactly,
never
which
has anyone
never,
gotten 16 nomination. That's more than
which,
Titanic, more than anything.
yes. And we'll talk about that in a second. But this nomination is so great. And yet now we have people like going crazy saying that like he's going to Martian Gay Harden and win this whole thing. And it's like, My God, we
Bullshit.
just and I'm like, cause what? Cause Sinners is Pollock, a movie that won one Oscar. Like, get the fuck out of here. Like, the comparisons the last couple of days to One Battle, which was also nominated for 13 Academy Awards, and Sinners, which was nominated for 16, 29 nominations between the two. If you throw in Amy Madigan, Warner Brothers led the day with 30 nominations, the most of any studio, much to be expected. But there was La La Land and Moonlight comparisons,
Yeah,
and
I've been hearing that.
those fell apart because if Sinners is Moonlight, how did it get more nominations than the La La Land? Okay, that's stupid. That doesn't make any sense. So now Sinners is Parasite because the because I guess One Battle After Another's become a stiff upper lip British oneer. Like, get the fuck out of here. Like, the mental gymnastics people have had to go through in the last 24 hours to write an article, to have an opinion, have been some of the stupidest takes I've seen in the last 5 to 6 years. I am very complimentary of people. I love all of my, of the people that I hang out with and I talk with, but my God, y'all need to step outside and touch some grass. Like, it is just Oscar nominations. And Mark Johnson over at Awards Watch said this best. Just because you got the most nominations on the morning does not mean you're going to win Best Picture. 6 out of the last 20 Best Picture winners were the nomination leader. That means 14 of them were not, including last year. I believe the Oppenheimer year as well. I think I think Poor Things had the most there that morning. And I think All Quiet on the Western Front had more than Everything Everywhere All at Once. Power of the Dog definitely had more than Coda. And so this happens all the time in the modern era. I mean, 1917 also had more than Parasite.
Hmm.
La La Land had more than Moonlight. So it's baffling. But what is the great news in the morning is records across the board being shattered, a
Good
mon-
movies getting.
good movies getting nominated, and a record that I'd never see being broke. Records are being broken across the board this season. Between One Battle breaking the SAG record and smashing that with 7 nominations, and the Globe nominations as well. I think that they were right up there as well too. And then in the modern era, and now Sinners breaking the Academy record. All this without any BAFTA nominations and industry
Mhm.
wins
And
whatsoever. By the way,
Sentimental Value with no SAG nominations, getting all the
yeah,
actors in.
a massive sentimental value sledgehammer into this whole thing with 9 nominations. Frankenstein getting 9, Marty Supreme getting 9, Hamnet getting
Josh
8.
Safdie getting everything on,
J-
I mean,
Josh
editing
Safdie being the Sean Baker,
of the year.
probably
Yeah.
without the wins this year. 4 nominations. Kugler and PTA getting 3. So that is the count now with PTA at 14 nominations and looking like it will be 14 nominations and potentially some wins. Ryan
Yes.
Coogler Ryan Coogler becomes the third black director ever to be nominated for director, picture, and screenplay in the same year. The other two are Jordan Peele and Spike Lee, and those two went on to win the screenplay categories and take home an Oscar. You have, Chloe Zhao becoming the second woman ever to be nominated twice for Best Director. Her and Jane Campion. Jane Campion went on to win the second go round. I don't think that that will be the case for Chloe Zhao
No,
this year, but
but
she stands a small chance of winning adapted screenplay, something that she was not able to do for Nomadland. Leonardo DiCaprio gets 12th film nominated for Best Picture. That is a record tying with his Killers of the Flower Moon co-star Robert De Niro. You
and Timmy,
have
the second youngest
the second
after.
youngest ever to 3. Timmy now with 4 Oscar nominations. It's the youngest since Brando, which is insane. Emma Stone breaks Meryl Streep's record for I think the most, the most nominations by an actress. She's, I think, 37 and Streep was 38.
Hmm.
So at this point of their career, so lots to be talked about.
Cinematography, we have
The
a few.
cinematography, having the Sinners nomination there is great. you know, potential history in so many categories.
Yeah.
If Ruthie Carter wins her third Oscar, she would be the most celebrated, I believe,
Costume
black.
design, of course. Yeah.
Yeah, she for costume design, I think she would be the most celebrated black artist in Oscar history because because like no actor has three. Denzel does not have three, so she
Ludwig
would
could get his third,
he would get his third, and he could potentially get his fourth next
fourth
year.
if he gets song. Yeah,
You
or
know,
he could get his fourth both because he could get both song and score.
okay, okay. We're I'm
I'm just
sorry.
saying.
There's this
I
song
know
called
there's a
Golden.
golden. I
You
know
know,
there's another song.
there's
I'm
a
just
big
saying.
golden thing. You know what I mean? In its way. But yes, sure, yes, absolutely for sure. And I have to say this: the other big shock of the morning for me, outside of like Delroy and outside of Avatar, and also that crazy song, Viva Verde,
Yeah. Which
seems
no
to
one
be
had ever heard of.
which seems to be eligible, but TBD on that. You never know. It
It
seems like
was
an
written
alone on
like in
alone.
2017 or something.
Trust me. Like if they find out that that song was released at all, that might be a nomination that gets pulled. Our own Eric Anderson was asking those simple questions online. I know that it was made for the documentary, but if it was like released on any platform outside of like as a single, then it won't count. um but oh god, what was the nomination? The
Yeah, it was.
nomination that I think was also like crazy inspired and shocking was the secret agent getting into the casting
Yeah.
award and upsetting the five SAG and also breaking through over sentimental value.
Yeah, which had
um
all four of the actors nominated,
yeah,
you would
which
think. But I think they're really certainly going for, with that, between that and Marty Supreme and casting, they're going for sort of like the casting of regular people and
oh, I would say
amateurs
the
and
same
that type
with
of thing.
I'd say the same with One Battle After Another.
One
If you
battle
get,
also, yeah.
if you, I think people kind of underestimate One Battle After Another in terms of that, and because they just see the four nominated people that they got in,
A-listers. Yeah.
but they yes they the stars, but like when you think about that movie, the Christmas adventurers, the military people, the civilians that help Sensei along the way, her friend, like Willa's friends, the other members of the French 75, it's a massive ensemble of
Hmm.
people and a lot of local people that they're getting in that movie as well. And the same with Sinners. It's like beyond just the main
Hmm.
cast, there's also a town of people that they had to plug in there as well with memorable roles. So I think that they did a fantastic job with
Me
that
too.
category. We'll see how that plays out. I think it's going to most likely go to Sinners, but yeah, that's all the history. But now we get to dive into
Let's dive into some
the
of this.
categories and some of the mischief that we can
Yeah,
see happening
let's
here.
start with some of the ones that are good. I can tell you, I tanked so hard on documentary. Well, I did
We
pretty
that
well on some
That's
of
the one
those.
category every year where I'm like,
It's
I have
like,
no, I
what
fucking
the
know.
hell?
They don't know what
Anyway,
they're doing over there because
no,
every
we'll
time we
get
think
back to that.
they're gonna zig, they zag.
Why
You
don't we,
know.
since we started with best actor, let's just finish that.
Okay.
So, do you have
Um.
anything else to add to Stellan Skarsgård, Benicio del Toro,
Oh,
Jacob
supporting actor.
Elordi? Oh, supporting actor, sorry.
Yeah,
Sean
it's okay.
Penn and Lindo.
Uh, it's a wide open race. I think you can make a case honestly for all five of these men to win this award. I know that Sean Penn and Benicio del Toro haven't won a televised award yet, but they've won critic prizes. Del Toro's won the majority of critics prizes. I could still see a world where he wins. You can make the Marcia Gay Harden comparison for Pollock if you want to, as the lone like doesn't win anything throughout the season, only wins the Oscar. You can make those arguments. I think you would be kind of wrong about that. Um, I don't, I think Lindo getting the nomination is the win there. Um, I think also, you could do the makeup win with a Lordy and say, like, does the makeup win carry that with the Oscar? That would be a historic Oscar for Jacob Elordi in his career. I don't think many people are talking about the fact that, like, Timmy's in a bit of a battle with those men, and we'll talk about that in a second. But if Elordi is able to pull this out and be a 28-year-old Academy Award winner at this young of age, seemingly, I mean, one of the sexiest men on the planet, going to be in Wuthering Heights, had a meeting with Denis Villeneuve to be Bond. Like, I'm just to tell you this right now, the world would be his oyster. It would be insane. And if that happens, if you hear someone screaming into the void, it's Andrew Garfield. Just
Yeah, who should have
continuing
taken
being
that role?
like, son of a bitch. You know what I mean? Like,
How could I
but
miss that?
then you have Stellan, who, had, I mean, sentimental value, had a massive day. You can't underestimate that film right now. And, that if you think that it doesn't have passion, it does. And then some to get both the girls in there helps Stellan's case. And
Yeah,
then
I
Sean
mean,
Penn plays potentially the most memorable character of all of these characters. And but I think he's five. I don't think he's going to win. He's just not campaigning. He's smoking cigarettes in the room. He's hanging out.
which is
But
fun.
he doesn't have you know what's funny? He combs
At
his
least he's
hair
there.
more as Lockjaw in the film than he did when he was at the Globes.
Exactly.
But it's still a worthy nomination. Again, very sad for Paul. Paul's fine. He's playing a Beatle. I think the thing about Hamnet, and this goes for Paul and it goes for its misses and cinematography and editing and some other places, is that I do think that there is this, I wouldn't say negativity towards Shakespeare or some of it, but there does seem to be like just it hasn't connected thoroughly through with so many people, and I think that
No,
a
it's
lot of
so
the
divisive. I mean,
a
articles
lot of
just
the
keep popping up. But
a lot of the heavy lifting of the campaigning of this movie has been Chloe Zhao and Jesse Buckley, and Paul did campaigning towards the end of their run. When Paul Strings and the Globes leading up to the vote, but he was not there all the way through. That being said, I still expect him to get a BAFTA nomination.
oh yeah,
And because he just did a Q&A with Cillian Murphy in London. And so he's got that on lock there, but there always is a couple of people that end up being those casual victims of that they got everything and accept the Oscar nom. And what's crazy at this point in the
should he
race,
have been lead?
okay, that's the big I mean, that's the big conversation if you want to have it about three performances this year. Stellan was able to because of the film, and I think because of Joachim and Renata really championing him in that category and being an elder gentleman. I think that he was able to fit that mold of supporting, and also since Cannes, there was this sort of growing sentiment for sentimental value that he was the supporting character and that he was locked into that category. But for Paul Mescal, Ariana Grande and Wicked for Good, and our beloved Chase Infinity as well, there was this sense of are they in the right category? If you read Clayton Davis's article on Variety, he did before the right after the vote window closed. You saw that there was somebody on one of those anonymous ballots, and I'm not taking an anonymous ballot seriously because I fucking hate those things, but there were people that put Ariana Grande in the lead category and not in supporting. I think that there were people that put Chase Infinity in supporting and
Supporting,
not
yeah.
in lead. I think there was one critics group that did put her in supporting. And then also, there were other ones that put her in and definitely in lead. The majority put her in lead. I think that there was a rebuke of that. I think that there's not vote splitting when it comes to wins and nominations and stuff like that. But for individual vote splitting exists. When you and I get the same votes, oh, we're vote splitting on, who the best podcaster is for of the show. It's like, no, there's not a vote split here. They just like Christina more than they like me. Okay.
I wouldn't don't
And
know.
but if they were trying to say, is she, if you're the best podcaster, the best, supporting podcaster, and you're going back and forth on that, and you get votes here and votes there, you're not getting a total amount of vote
Right.
singularly in one category. And that's where I think it's split. that which, can be beneficial because we've seen in the past, like that's how Lakeith Stanfield broke in for Judas and the Black Messiah. Enough people saw him as a supporting actor, they put him in there. They're fucking wrong, but but
It
he got
worked.
into that category because I still to this day don't know who the lead of Judas and the Black Messiah is to this day from the Academy's perspective. But I think that that's what hurt all three of those, and more so Mescal and Infinity. I just think with Grande, they couldn't care less
No, that you
about
could,
that
I mean,
film.
that movie
That's
was
that's
sort of
just
our,
clear.
yeah.
That's just clear. They didn't like it, and thank God we don't have to talk about it. I was like so happy
Yeah.
that that
That's
all
over
that
and done with.
that terrible, awful movie does not have to be a part of this conversation. No offense to all those people that made it, but you made a stinker, and you don't deserve to be in the class with some of these other films.
Supporting actress that was fun. The first one to be out there was Elle, and I think
Man,
that was
right at the gate.
right at the gate, so that was fun. Our favorite Tiana Taylor, Amy Madigan, so happy about that. Of course, Inga Ibsdotter Liljas and Wunmi Musako. I think
Yeah.
this is a fantastic lineup.
I think it's very, very good. I think Tiana Taylor's about to become an Oscar winner. I think that
I
it's
think I
very
think it's a tough race with Amy because I think that lots
I
of
just
people think that's fun.
I think so, but fun isn't a
I
winner. Fun is fun.
no, I hope for Tiana, but
Yeah,
I do love an Amy.
I think the passion and the amount of nominations for Tiana for one battle after another. I don't think Wumi Misako is going to happen. That's not something that will happen. So like all the Sinners people out there are she once again the nomination is the win there. I think if any, Inga and Elle, they missed a lot over the season. Tiana and Amy have been the sort of constants throughout this entire thing as this category has evolved and shaped and moved. But I just think it's so hard, Christina, to win Oscars as solo nominees for your category, especially when we get to this portion where now any voters that are playing catch up, they are going to watch the 10 films that are
Hmm.
nominated. And so you have to overwhelmingly sweep the season. And Amy Madigan has been splitting the vote with Tiana Taylor. So let's say BAFTA goes with Amy Madigan, SAG goes with Tiana, or whatever way around. Then the I would say it's Tiana. If Tiana wins both, it's her. If somebody else outside, like let's say Inga wins BAFTA and somebody else wins, then I still would say that it's probably Tiana Taylor because she's the strongest performance inside the strongest film that's in there. I don't think Wumi Musaka, even though the movie is stronger, I don't think their performance is stronger than Tiana Taylor. But if Amy Madigan's won both BAFTA and SAG, then there's no way you cannot predict her to win. I just think that that movie surprisingly underperformed
Yeah,
here,
surprisingly.
which was crazy because it had passion, but I was listening to Sean Fennessy and Amanda Dobbins yesterday. Fennessy pointed out, and this is true, is that Kreger is working on the Resident Evil film, and he has a date set for later this year. So he did not campaign, and he was
No.
not out there. And it really showed that if you didn't campaign this year, because the margins were so
So
thin,
yeah,
and
then
if
you're
you
out.
didn't have events and your film was not out there, man, they just did not find the effort to go in and push it through. And I think that cost Matt. I mean, they pushed Madigan, and that
Hmm.
was their whole intention. I think they tried to push the makeup, and then that failed. It was a long shot in casting, and then I think it was like two or three screenplays in between this and five. Like like it was closer, I think, an original screenplay than we give it credit for. But I think that PGA nomination kind of stepped everybody up and it's like, oh, could this actually happen? And no, they just put two hits in there, and one of those hits made it in one of the final slots in F1. And so it was an underperforming day for Sinners, but it's also not surprising
For weapons, you
that
mean? Yeah.
I mean for
Yeah.
weapons, yeah. I mean horror bias. And that's the
Yeah.
difference. It's like Sinners has vampire elements and horror elements, but it has so much more
Very
going
heavy
for it.
themes and yeah.
Yeah, and centers. I mean, and weapons. I'm mixing all these Warner Brothers titles
Mm.
up, but weapons is a straight up horror film, and it's very hard for movies like that to pierce through. It's also it is divisive, but Madigan getting in is a huge win.
I thought it could have gotten a screenplay,
She
but
has
yeah.
the longest
Yeah,
break
40
in
years.
between
Yeah.
40 years in between nominations. She now holds the record for that as well, which is
Let's do
insane.
actor and actress because I think we both, as I got all of these predicted, and I think you as well
I
on
I
actor.
missed out on one in actress,
Okay.
but all in actor, yes, that was 5 for 5.
So actress Jessie Buckley, Rose Byrne, Renate Reinsve, Kate Hudson, and Emma Stone. I put Kate Hudson in there last minute,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
I was just thinking they're gonna want that.
I think so too. This is where you're going to get another soapbox moment, which is that this category continues to prove to be a backwards category that celebrates white women and ignores women of color. We continue to do this every single year. We're talking about a movie that has the support of the Academy in 13 categories. And yet, when it came down to the female performance that they put in lead, regardless of you think it's supporting or not, we've seen this coalesce before. And the Academy said, no, we're going with the narrative. Kate Hudson literally hired the same reps and campaigners that got Demi Moore in, that got Ariana,
She did have her mother and
Andrea
stepfather
Riseborough. She
out
had her
there.
mother, she had her family, she had nepotism and everything to get her all the way through to beat this newcomer. And you have Emma Stone in her Meryl Streep era. And then, of course, Rose Byrne had won all the Critics Awards. Renato Ransford had the international vote, and Jesse Buckley is are going to be our winner, so we don't have to worry about that. And it left Chase Infinity on the outs. And it's not surprising. I mean, I had Kate Hudson in my six. If you had anybody else other than Kate Hudson or Chase Infinity in your six, five, or six, then you're not doing this properly. But it's a bummer because I don't know how you watch one battle after another and not put this young girl in, this
Yeah, the
young
way she
talented
goes up
artist in.
against
She
Penn
goes
and everything.
Pin
I mean,
and she's going toe to toe with
yeah.
Leo, and she's the emotional connective tissue that goes throughout this whole film, connecting it even back to Tiana's performance as well. I don't know how you don't nominate it, but I know how you do it. Though. Well, actually, I do know how you do it. You sit at brunches and you listen to Kate Hudson talked about getting hit by a car twice and singing Suleiman, and that's how you get her in. And yes, I do think that this is the difference between a calculated campaign versus merit and what we've seen in the past because if it's a man, they get in no question. Like Leo got in, there was no questions about that. I mean, you could argue is Leo even a full lead of this? It's a part of an ensemble, but we've seen this happen before, and it continues to happen here. Last year we're moving the goalposts a little bit, Christina, because last year I was told from Marianne Jean Baptiste's perspective that she couldn't get in, and we couldn't have only the third time ever that two black women were in this category. I was told, well, she's a very prickly character and people can't relate. And yet Rose Byrne got in here, and a lot of people have said the same damn things, and
Hmm.
she's won
Is she so
pretty much the
unlikable?
same awards. Yeah,
Yeah.
and I can't connect with that character, and yet she got in no problem. And I hate to just be that person and look at it and say, well, then what's the difference between the two of them? And if you
Can
can't
I
figure
just
that
say, I
out,
just saw Marianne Jean Baptiste on stage last week.
she's one of
Fucking
our great actresses.
beast.
She's
She
a beat.
is,
She's incredible.
I mean,
And I've
not
met
even.
her. I met her at a Hard Truths Q&A last year. One of the nicest women on the
Yeah, I
planet. Like
mean,
truly one of the well, I'm just not even just women. One of the nicest people on the planet. Just so humble, so gracious, but a performer, a
oh my God.
presence. And so Chase Infinity, she'll be fine. I hope she gets a ton of roles. But it's
She'll
also
be
the
fine. She's
it's
gonna,
also the difference between being, and this drives me nuts, is like, you know, the young ingenue thing pisses me off because everybody went head over heels last year for it with Honora and shoved Fernando Torres and Mike and Demi Moore out of the way so that we could award her. We get the young ingenue here, and then we tell her, "You're not good enough to be in this category. You should have gone to the other one." That's what they said, and it was a risk by Warner Brothers, but it's not also a risk though that hurts it because I've seen this too. That Chase Infinity missing means that one battle after another is it loses a step in Best Picture. No, because if she was winning prizes, we'd
Mhm.
have that loss. Her missing a nomination is not going to hurt its Best Picture chances at all. If anything, it's just what happens with most Best Picture films where they miss a nomination. You go, damn, that one doesn't make any sense why it's not there, but you pick up and move on.
Actor were no surprises for us. I think we both had Timmy, Leo, Michael B. Jordan, Wagner Moura, and Ethan Hawke.
That was like
That
the
was
five
just,
the whole
yeah.
time. Yeah. And so now we go to the real televised events, and do we see if Timmy still has the momentum or has
It's
somebody
between
else?
Leo and Timmy. No, don't you think?
Sure. I
Or
you
do you
know,
think Ethan can?
I think I think any one of them actually could win it. Because if there is this massive wave for sinners, Michael B. Jordan could easily win this
Hmm.
Oscar. I just don't know where I mean, he would have to win SAG, but I feel like Timmy will most likely win that over
Yeah,
him.
I feel like right
I
at the
think,
moment, I've Timmy's
but
got
also
the
I think
momentum.
Leo is so strong and he's kind of just sitting in the back waiting to pounce. You
Like
know,
a shark.
Ethan Hawke, that is I mean, his first time ever, by the way, being nominated in the lead actor category in his career. He previously was nominated for Training Day and Boyhood in the supporting categories,
And he deserves it.
and he deserves it. He's wonderful, and the screenplay getting in. I think that that's really where Sony Pictures Classics sort of just ends with it. Again, you go down to it. You got to be sweepers in order to get to order to get it. And he hasn't swept anything. He hasn't won big prizes yet, and the film is in Best Picture. So, and Wagner Moura. I mean, if Fernanda couldn't do it last year, I don't think that there's enough because
I don't think so.
he's not going to get BAFTA. He's not going to get SAG, and that's a big deal. Like that's a huge deal for him. Now, I will say he's a little bit of a bigger star than Fernando Torres is. I'm not. That's not to take a shot at Fernando Torres.
No,
He's
but
in
I
like
mean,
Narcos and things.
particularly in the States where
Yeah, in the
he's,
States.
been on Netflix
Yeah, and he's been in
staple.
shows and
Mhm.
movies, that people have seen, but I don't think it's enough. I do agree with you. I think it is Timmy or Leo with a third now lingering that it's um Michael B. Jordan because of Sinners' strength.
So how'd you do in director? Paul Thomas Anderson, Ryan Coogler, Chloe Zhao, Joachim Trier, and Josh
I
Safdie.
did 4 for 5. I did really
Me too.
well.
I did four
I
for five too.
I had Safdie out.
Who did you have?
I had Guillermo del Toro in here.
And I had Kleber because I was
I mean,
thinking maybe,
I think both
but
made sense.
too international was a bit much. But I don't know. I had this. I thought that they sort of made so many mistakes with him going forward, where he couldn't get his award at Critics' Choice. He had to get it
Yeah.
on the carpet, and they was calling him. I
See,
thought maybe it was,
I think all those internet narratives didn't work either for
no.
people. Like I think the sort of like, oh, they're gonna snub, like secret agent's been disrespectful, so like let's give it, he's gonna get in, um or Julia Roberts is gonna get Sorry Baby in there, or some of that stuff. It didn't work out. Like,
Mm.
it kind of proved that like they're not online all for every little
But were you
thing.
surprised about Josh? I mean,
I was
mhm.
surprised about more so Guillermo del Toro missing.
I wasn't, see, because I think that the
I
real passion for Frankenstein, I've said it since Telluride, I think people love Guillermo, but the passion for the movie itself isn't really there.
But passion has nothing to do with him getting in there or not. It has to do with the fact that
I think
they
it did.
think it. I mean, he got into screenplay, Christina. So like the clearly, and like, which if we're gonna have a conversation,
Yeah.
the screenplay for that movie should not be nominated for
No.
anything. That's the thing. Is that
That's
to
weird.
is that it has been touted, and you and I have had this conversation as a technical achievement, a massive undertaking. That falls in line with something that would be a director's weight on his shoulder, not a writer, a director's.
Hmm.
And so that's why I was like, this is too big of a movie. The texts are getting all the texts got nominated except the visual effects. Thank God.
Well, people have
And
read the book or something.
you
That's
know,
like, there's
uh, you know, and I mean, the adapted screenplay category is very weak, but I think the passion for Marty Supreme didn't lie in the end um at the supporting actresses or some of the other techs. It really was that, Timmy carries Safdie, just like he did James Mangold last year, which is something to consider for maybe a certain Canadian, French Canadian director next year, hopefully, in this category, and finally break through for his damn film. But I think that there was also something fresh and new about Safdie. That movie had come out right at the last second, and that's where I think that it overtook it. But there was this also the growing narrative of like, well, will Zhao or Kugler miss? It just showed that no, they were staples this whole time. PTA was obviously the number one staple the whole
and
time.
we don't even have to discuss that PTAs will win this. I mean,
Well, I think we should. I
you
think we
think
should discuss that PTA should win this.
that's like for
No,
me.
I think we need to. No, 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 no. We're not doing this either, Christina. I've seen a lot of people go out there. I watched Sean Finney and Amanda Dobbins, and listen, I love those guys through and through. Shout out to them, but they just like dismissed, and they admitted dismissing one battle after another and what it did. They talked about sinners till kingdom come. I mean, Sean literally said, and I
But I'm
quote,
not
"I'm going to
dismissing. I'm saying
champion."
that PTA is getting
No,
director.
we need to talk about how that will be a historic career defining achievement. 14 nominations for this man now. A like
Now,
one of the biggest nomination records without
11
a win.
before this without a win. 14
Exactly.
now.
We talk about Diane Warren all the time not having
Mhm.
one. Well, let's talk about PTA. He's right up there with it. This will be a historic
It's
win.
his.
It's his, and we should celebrate, and it'd be great. But also, Joachim Trier getting in here is great too.
Oh, I mean,
Um,
they're all. I love
you
this
know,
group. I
this
mean,
is a great
Ryan
group.
Coogler. I'm
I
not saying.
can't
I'm
wait
just saying in
till
terms of the
no, in terms
win.
of the win, like it should be locked up. It should.
It is. I don't know what you're.
It should. It
It
should
is.
be locked up.
It is. I'll talk to you
Worst case scenario,
March
it's
16th.
a worst case scenario. We're looking at a power of the dog situation here, and I've said that all season long. Where it's like, if one battle is just going to win one thing, it's going to be that. I think it's going to win more than that. I think it's going to win like 4 or 5 Oscars. It's totally what I believe. I have it winning 5 at this point, maybe 6. Who knows how things will shape out over the next couple of weeks. But I think he's going to win. But there is the Kugler factor. It sits right there on the It sits there, and you have to think. Yes, 16 nominations is a lot, and no, it will not go home empty-handed. But is director in people's minds? I mean, screenplay enough in people's minds? Will people think, no, I want to give it to him in director. No, I want to give it to him in screenplay. And that's where, if you can't decide, because then people are going to also go, well, PTA is winning that, so I'll give my vote to somebody else. That's a dangerous thing to say as well.
You
But
think? But what about Picture Sinners director PTA?
we're not getting a split. We're not getting a split. We don't get splits anymore. We haven't had a split since 2018. And I'm not even going to go into that film winning, Green Book. But so we haven't had splits. Oh no, I guess 2021 with Coda
21, yeah.
and that one, that was controversial, and in both of those cases there wasn't really a second choice. And with Power of the Dog, that became a villain by the end. That became a sort of a pariah thing. and Coda became a Discovery. Both of these movies, Sinners and One Battle, are from the same studio. And I think people kind of just assume that Warner Brothers is going to do whatever they can to get a split or both of them to win. Pam and Mike were sitting at PTA's table at Golden Globe. Zasloff was sitting at PTA's table at Golden Globe. They were not sitting with with the Sinners people. So this would have to be an Academy vote for Sinners. I think the Academy loves One Battle After Another just as much. I mean, these were the only two films to get double digits. So, and Sinners had more of a possibility to get in categories than One Battle After Another. Like, it wasn't really realistic for it to get in because it's a genre film. So it wasn't really realistic for it to get into visual effects. The makeup one was a stretch. The costume one, they hate modern costumes, no matter who does it, you know. And then the Chase Infinity Miss. So it's like a normal film that they represent, but I still think it maxed out as much as it could get. I mean, the production design surprise for One Battle kind of outweighs the Chase Infinity Miss for it to get 13. But yeah,
And
I think for
even without the new casting, Sinners would have been historic.
it would have been historic
Fifth,
either way. Yeah,
mhm.
yeah, yeah, for sure. There's no question about that. And it's not to undercut that historic moment. It's not. But Sinners actually could have got more. I mean, it could have got Miles Caton in. It could have got the second song in. We could have even talked about it having 18 to 19 awards. Like that's insane when you really think about it. And it didn't fully go as far as one would think. But as it could have, or as it has in other categories with critics groups and other televised events. That's still not to undercut the 16. It's just like, man, this could have been even bigger. But you don't want to get greedy if you're Warner Brothers. You just want to take what you got. I still have One Battle After Another in both picture and director winning. I still think when it comes down to it, there will be a little bit of that, oh, the vampire horror aspect of it lingers in like like a Get Out. Like this is very much a Shape of Water, Get Out situation
So
where
Cooler will get screenplay.
I think he will, but there is that little thing in me that goes, man, they really love sentimental
Mental
value.
value.
And that's such a well written film. And it's in a
It
fight for
is
its
very
life.
well
And
written.
it's still in a fight, I think, for its
But
life in
let
international
me just
feature.
tell people what the screenplay was. I'm still saying your point. You gave me this whole thing, and you're still saying that I'm right. PTA will
Yeah,
get the best director.
he will,
So
but
I don't know
well,
why you went on the whole tangent. You're
you
just
got to talk
worried.
about it.
You're just worried, and you need to sort of
You got to talk
calm the
about it.
fuck down. Just
Yeah, I got to
kidding.
calm the fuck down. But
Yeah.
here's the
So
thing: if you don't talk about it, if you don't talk it out, and you just discard it, then when an upset does happen, then you're like shocked, and it's like, no, if we talked it out on the show, then it makes
that's true.
sense.
Okay. Yes, that's good. That we
Yeah,
take we sort of talk through the fear,
yeah.
and so we're ready for
This
it.
is therapy right now. All right.
So, best original screenplay, where we have Cooler with Sinners, A Sentimental Value, Marty Supreme, It Was Just an Accident, where this got in, Blue Moon. It was, we just have to mention it was just an accident. I'm surprised. I've said it before when we've talked at the momentum that this movie had and Jafar Panahi had a little bit past in the season. And I don't know what happened. It was just quelled.
It was shame on me. We haven't got to to picture yet. I went 9 for 10. I stuck with it was just an accident. I think you went weapons,
I
right?
did.
Um, I should have just gone with F1. It just made it honestly it just made sense because it's like, oh, what's the stupid film that could get in? Not that F1's a stupid movie. I like F1,
I
but it's
like
like,
F1,
but
but I
for
mean,
Best
it's not.
Picture, come on,
No, no, no.
like
I mean, it's a fun popcorn movie.
this is what
Let's leave it
happens
where it
when
is. Leave it
exactly
there.
like it's made its money. It did a good job, but like, yeah, I mean, we should know better. You and I should definitely know better. People should know better that like they're not going to go for three international films. That's
No.
ridiculous. But you would just think that like, man, this movie like they went they went backwards, like, backwards and forwards doing flips to get him at Q&As, to get his visa to
Yeah, and he's going to jail and
the
I mean the
Palm, and yeah,
whole
the narrative and everything, and I really thought he was at one time. I thought, man, he's like second in this race because he's got a narrative, and that movie's so
yeah, well,
strong
people
and
were
it won
talking
the
best
Palm.
director
Yeah, and now he didn't even get nominated at all for that. He got nominated for, I mean, original
here
screenplay.
for screenplay. Yeah.
I don't even know. Like that's the thing. Also, I don't even know if he'll be at the telecast. Um, but I said this I think on your show maybe last week, but I definitely said it on our show at Awards Watch. I feel, Christina, that can finally the can audience finally came through with their feedback to Juliette Binoche,
Right.
because
That's what they
I
should.
think you and Sophia and Eric and myself were there to see that the overwhelming film that everyone thought should have won the Palme d'Or was Sentimental Value. And Juliette Binoche said, "Nope, it gets runner up. I'm going to give it to my friend Jafar." And what a wonderful moment it was. But then it put the label of Palme d'Or on it with an asterisk.
Hmm.
Unlike the films of the last 5, 6 years, where the Palm has, outside of Titan, played extremely strong with the Academy. And so I think that the Academy and the international voters said, no, the real Palme d'Or, Juliette Binoche, is Sentimental
Sentimental
Value.
value.
And the second film we'd like to nominate more is The Secret Agent because of the Brazilian contingent, as well as also it was the most awarded film at Cannes. And you want to know how I know that? Because Neon wouldn't shut up about that in their advertisements about that. And I think that
And
that
it's also people
super
love the movie.
timely.
Yeah,
Yeah.
super
And
timely and I think
Wagner and
possibly less people like it was just an accident in
I
terms of
think that
just
there was
loving
that.
the movie. Yeah.
I think that there was, I know that when we were with critics groups and stuff, and I was at TIFF and people were seeing it was just an accident. They respected it. They really liked it. A lot of people, critics really loved No Other Choice. And that had
Yeah,
no,
that's
that had
getting
zero
zero
chance.
today. Yeah.
No, he doesn't make movies for them. And I think
No,
people need to, now with Decision to Leave in this, which had two campaigns and it came
the
up with
Academy doesn't
zero.
like.
They just don't care for his films. I think that they think of his films as like lesser Bong Joon-ho, and which is disrespectful to him, but to director Park because he makes wonderful films and that movie's wonderful. I mean, they fucking love Sarat more than this, which tells you everything you need to know. Which is a terrible movie, but I think that those two other films had the passion. It had enough to get into screenplay and to get into international feature, but yeah, it blanked everywhere else. And I think the other thing too about it, Christina, was it was just an accident. It never had an actor.
Right.
It never had an actor. And Secret Agent and Sentimental Value had performances. And we've seen that over the last couple of years where like Honora had the Oscar winner, Sandra Hüller,
Yeah, and Wagner and Kleber, they were all campaigning
you know,
together, and you had the whole cast of, the family of sentimental value
you
just
know,
everywhere. And
yeah, I mean, the Parasite crew had that ensemble, but they were kind of everywhere.
mhm.
Dolly De Leon was in and out during that campaign for Triangle of Sadness. Um, so like I think having a little bit of the actor bump there too helped that movie. And so it's a real sad thing because now Jafar Panahi is going to be in prison for another year and he's going to go to this ceremony and then yeah, he's going to be in prison and it's crazy that I was watching PTA accept the NYFF award for best film and he was talking about Panahi. He's like this like he's like, how are we not talking about this man? It's anytime he got on a stage, it's inspiring. And even the Globes didn't go for him.
I know. It just
It doesn't make any sense. It hasn't made any sense. the collapse is such a collapse, you know, you
Let's
know.
move on to adapted, where we of course have one battle after another. Hamnet, Train Dreams, Begonia, and the aforementioned Frankenstein. Here I went, I had 4 out of 5. I had no other choice, but
No, that was not going to happen. I
that
went
was
five
not
for
going to happen
five.
apparently.
I went 5 for 5.
Good.
You know, um, you
I
know.
feel like I feel like this is PTA's.
Oh yeah,
I mean,
there was
can't
again,
even.
people were doubting that yesterday. I was listening to the Big Picture. I was listening to other podcasts, and I'm like, what for Hamnet?
I
Get out of
can't.
here.
No.
Clayton Davis on Variety has Train Dreams winning. No. Though, what a wonderful day for Train Dreams, by the
It
way.
was
No
a
one's
great.
talked,
I love
no,
Train Dreams. Yeah.
but sad that Joel Edgerton, like that movie got the screenplay, cinematography, the song, picture, and again, like just like kind of one battle, the heart and soul of that movie, the heart of these movies are missing,
Mm-hmm.
Christina.
Just ripped it
Joel
out.
Edgerton, who is just like, who I think told Matt Neglia of Next Best Picture that he's like, I'm not getting in this go round. You know, he's going to get lovinged again, which is
Mm-hmm.
very such a self-reflective man, but also like such a sad statement to make when knowing that. You know what I mean? But yeah, I think it's going to be one battle.
I think so. So editing and cinematography, were you surprised? Editing, we had F1, One Battle After Another, Sinners, Sentimental Value, and Marty Supreme.
Not too surprised. Kind of had the feeling Hamnet was going to miss. It's been missing the guilds. Same with
Mm-hmm.
cinematography. F1 getting in there makes sense now that it's a Best Picture
I was not so
contender.
surprised that Hamnet in editing, but a bit in cinematography, seeing
Well,
that
it's
it's
it's it's
skull and how
missed.
beautiful it's, yeah.
Yeah, it's missed
That
a ton of places though. You know, and what are the cinematography noms again, Christina?
One Battle After Another, Marty, Sinners, Frankenstein, and Train Dreams.
Yeah, I mean, like I think a lot of people think it's going to be Sinners, but I'm going to tell you this: Train Dreams is right there.
Train Dreams, it's beautiful. Everyone's talking about the digital, cinematography and how beautiful they managed to do that.
Yeah, it
And
feels like
it
an All Quiet
is.
on the Western Front kind of thing
On the
a
other
little
hand,
bit.
Archipald, the first black female cinematographer working in IMAX, it's just such a gorgeous movie.
And then you have Bauman working on that
Yes.
film, with the Vista Vision. Like that's
Yeah.
real, like and working on those cameras, and those cameras were recreated. It's
And
going to
the
be
whole
very
scene
interesting.
with the road. I mean,
It's
you,
it
I
that's a
can't
show.
even.
Well,
Yeah.
it's the road sequence versus I lied to you. So like those are your showcases. It's
Oh
like
my gosh.
fuck. How do
Yeah.
you pick? You know what I mean?
And
Like
also it's the vistas and train. I mean, just looking up
yeah.
towards the trees and
I think editing will go one battle after another, and I think cinematography is between one battle and Sinners. Um, but it really is going to be like, what is BAFTA and what does the guild go for? Because it seemed like it was going Sinners, and then Critics' Choice gave it to Train Dreams, and everyone was like, "Whoa!" So we'll see, we'll see. You know,
so let's do the new casting. Here I went 4 out of 5. I had sentimental value because I thought,
I did the same
considering
thing. I
it
went four
for
out of five.
but one
Yeah,
battle after another, Sinners, Hamnet, Marty Supreme, and then what they had in Secret Agent. We mentioned this a little bit, so pretty good though. I love that Secret Agent is in there.
yeah. No, I think that's it's honestly just like a supremely um I think it's like a supremely inspired pick, and you know what I mean. And I loved it. I thought Secret Agent getting in there is great. You know,
Me too. It gives you an idea of how I think we were kind of this is completely new. So what direction were they were going to go? How were they going to think about this category in the academy? And this gives you sort of an idea. And I found it positive.
for sure.
So international feature, do you have them in front of you?
What the international features? Yeah, I
Yeah.
know what they are. It was just an accident. Sentimental value, Secret Agent, Sarat, and the voice of Henry Job.
And I had the voice of Hinja Job. I've been thinking that one the whole time.
I went
But
five for five in this. I'm proud of
Good for you.
myself. There was a lot of categories I ended up getting 5 for 5, 4 for 5. That's the goal. Get 4 for 5, 5 for 5, 9 for 10, something like that. Call it a day. Don't brag about it. Don't go online and say that you're like the greatest prognosticator. Just
I
pick up
can't
and go
wait
home.
till we get to documentary and you're
Like
gonna
I
die.
don't like okay, to be honest with you, I don't do the shorts. I have
Mhm.
stopped doing the shorts because you want to know why? It's not nothing to offend nothing to offend the shorts.
Look,
I don't see them. I'm not going to watch 45 short films. You're not going to watch 45 short films. She's got kids. I got a life.
I
We
watched
got,
a few, and most of the ones that I
you
hadn't
picked
even heard of. No,
and they're
but I
terrible.
tried. I tried.
She tried. I don't do it. I'm like, fuck it. Like no one should have no pundit should have to count the shorts against the record. That's not fair to you nor
No,
fair to them.
at
Like
least not at this
we
part in the
all
state. Later, when when we
yeah,
have
when
the
you're picking
nominees,
the
that's
winners, like
yeah.
now it's down to 15. I'll watch 15 films, you know? Like I'll do that, but not 45. Jesus
Yeah.
Christ. Like some of them are long and super depressing and really bad.
Mm.
Like really bad. Anyway,
Anyway, international, it's good lineup, and we're happy with this.
I think it's between two films. So the two in Best Picture.
Hmm.
Like,
Sentimental and secret.
here's the thing: Brazil won this last year, but they won it because there was a massive controversy. So what I'm going to tell you is Joachim Trier, Renata Reinsve, Inga Ipsata Lilius, Elle Fanning, Stellan Skarsgård, um, Esco Volt, right?
Yes, cool. Yeah.
The rest of Sentimental Values team. Scrub your internet accounts because they're coming for you. Get log offline. They're coming
Oh,
for you. If you got anything controversial, take it offline now. Learn from Carlos Sofia Scott's
oh
mistake.
God. What about song?
Oh,
Yeah,
song
no, it's
was
golden. I mean, there was no surprises here.
Golden. I lied to you.
I had
Uh,
taken the girl in the bubble. That surprised me a bit that not
you took
even
it.
I had it
You
there.
picked it. I took it out.
You did?
I had I had Drive from F1
uh-huh,
because
okay.
I was like Ed Sheeran and John Mayer had been doing a bunch of like pop ups the last couple of weeks and screenings. But the Viva Verde nomination, like what in the hell?
Yeah, yeah.
I'm telling you, this category so stupid sometimes. It really is so stupid. But if you could have told me, Christina, I want to ask you, if I told you a year ago that Wicked would not get nominated for a single Oscar, what would you have called me back then?
That I would have just you're crazy.
Yeah, you would have
10
said
for the first one.
I know you don't like this property, but now you're just being a jerk. Well, now I get to be a jerk. Wicked got snubbed. Well, okay, let me take that back. It didn't get snubbed. It deserved what it got today. It deserved to get the 10 from last year taken away. This is crap on a cracker, and the Academy figured it out. And I think Eric got mad at me for this, but I don't care. I do think quality of the movie up against these other films matter. I do think it was a we saw this all last year, nothing really changed because they kind of, you know, blew it all last year with those great songs in the first act and those performances and the film doesn't reshape anything. It's just a continuance of
Yeah.
that. And I think
I
they would
mean,
have had a better showing if it was just one film
I
last
think so
year.
too. They should have made just one film, but on the other hand, they made a ton of money on the second one, so no
I mean,
one's
they made a ton of
crying to
money.
their pill.
No one's crying, but like it is very funny like the amount of people that sent me death threats because I said that, Ariana Grande is not winning this Oscar for a pitchy performance. And then the Academy agreed with me. Eat your heart out, people, you know?
Were you surprised at anything in score where we had Sinners, Ludwig there, of course, one battle after another, Begonia, Hamnet, and Frankenstein?
Begonia was surprising.
I had Marty Supreme there, not
I did
Begonia.
too, but I think now going forward, I cannot have techno music scores with that Sinners, Sarat missing. I know a lot of people pick Sarat. Yeah, I think the days of doing that are done. You know what I mean?
I think so too.
Yeah. And
I
I
think
think it'll be Sinners. I think it'll be
St.
Ludwig.
Ludwig for his third Oscar.
He
Just a
should,
genius. He's just a
Christina,
genius. Can
can
we
I
just
say
say
this?
that? Yeah.
Can I say this though?
I've said
And I
that
know,
twice on
you
television
said it. You
this
said it. You
24
called him
hours.
a genius, and he seems like a very nice guy. And I'm not trying to say this to be mean. He has no business having a third Oscar this soon. Some people have waited their whole lives. Ask
That's
Diane
one thing.
Warren.
I mean, fine in terms of that, spreading the wealth, but he's still a genius.
He's still a genius. There's no denying that. But give it to Johnny Greenwood. My God, talk about a guy that should be winning this category. You know, if Max Richter,
Yes,
give
but
it to
Max Richter's
Max
not even
Richter.
here. Yeah, that I
this.
think that, but Max Richter is everyone's just so pissed off about that the
Yeah,
stupid discussion about the last song, which why not?
I mean, yeah. Why not? Indeed, I guess like it just. Um, yeah, but it was the thing that people kept talking about, and kept referring to it. I mean, he is here, he's
Oh,
part of
he's
the
here.
five.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, he's part of the
Okay.
five, but um, I mean, Desplot's already won the frickin' Jerskin Fredericks for Begonia. He's lucky to frickin' be here. So like, but yeah, like Goranson having this crazy run. Like, I mean, having Black Panther, Oppenheimer, he's going to get nominated again next year. I'm just saying,
And then it'll be the fourth one for the new Nolan.
or it could, I mean, if he upsets in song, like you
And
said,
so I'm saying
that's
he won't have
five.
said so, but that would be
That's silly. It's silly. It's crazy. Spread the wealth.
visual effects. Avatar, F1, Sinners, Jurassic, and The Lost Bus, which I
Hell yeah.
actually had there after listening to you.
Yeah.
I wouldn't even have thought of this. This was like one of the worst movies I saw last year.
You think I had a fun time watching it at the world premiere at TIFF?
Oh,
No, it was a terrible movie. I Yeah, I knew it was going to happen. The guild showed us enough where it had four guild nominations and Frankenstein had zero. So it would made sense from the visual effects artists. It's going to be Avatar. Avatar's going to win this.
mhm.
Avatar should win this every time. It's I know it sounds boring, but it's like, my God, every time they make these movies, they shouldn't exist. They're so stupidly good looking in terms of a visual effects aesthetic, you know.
Best sound. I think I had 5 for 5 here. Did you? For some reason.
I think so as well. Yeah.
So this
And
was. Go
I
ahead.
think that this is going to be a really fascinating one. This will be a really fascinating one. I mean, Sinners could win this. One battle after another could win this. F1 could win this. So yeah, it's
Surat.
no, but thank you for saying that.
Thank you for playing.
Thank you for playing. I think Surratt's lucky to make it. But honestly, if you are okay, this is my one compliment to Surratt. If you were going to nominate it for anything, it is best sound because that movie just blowing
It has a
shit.
lot of sound.
It's blowing shit up the whole time. It's the loudest movie of the year for sure. So
Costume design we talked about a bit.
yeah, we
At
did.
least
Yeah.
um I was hoping for Hedda and stupid me put it in there,
It just didn't
but
make sense. Eric put it in there too. I'm not, dogging you guys. I would have loved that to be in there. It didn't make any sense. That movie was so dead when it arrived, and it's such a shame
it
because that
makes
movie
more
should.
sense than Avatar.
And oh, it made more sense than Avatar for sure. But Hedda should have been nominated for like 6, 7 awards in the Academy, and it was just completely ignored. It's ridiculous.
Here I think Ruthie's going for Sinners.
I think it's Kate Howley for Frankenstein.
You think so? I think.
Yeah, I'm telling you, the Frankenstein stuff's going to win. Like
Hmm.
that has been the consensus all season. You and others have to stop thinking about that you hate that movie and accept that the Academy loved it. They loved it. Christina, think about this. They loved Frankenstein just as much as Sentimental Value and Marty Supreme because they nominated them all three 9 times.
All
Like
right,
Ferris
but
Bueller,
then I,
9 times.
I still think that there's a lot of love for Sinners and for Ruthie.
There is, but she's already won two. And Halley hasn't. And I guarantee you, Del Toro's now going to use all of his might and force to push this thing forward. And they had that exhibit. They had that Frankenstein exhibit in Los Angeles, and it was extended so that everybody there, including Academy voters, could see that work up in person. It is incredible work
Yeah,
what they
yeah,
did
I
in
know.
that movie.
Everyone was talking about that
It
exhibit.
is
I mean, all
it's
right,
that's
fine.
done. Like it's gonna win at least three.
All right, fine. And
Yeah.
that will be makeup, of course, where I think
Make
it will win. Yes.
makeup, production design, costume design, book it. It's going to Frankenstein.
Yeah,
Yeah.
production is so.
Christina's so mad at me for saying that. She's
I'm
like,
not.
God
Actually, I
damn it, I
think
don't
it.
want that movie to win.
I actually think that in makeup, it's deserved.
Yeah, and I think the costumes are deserved. I think the production
This
design's
feels like we're
insane. They
costumes
built
is
the boat,
Christina.
Christina.
They built the boat. I've
They
heard
built the
this.
boat. They
N-
built the laboratory. Everything
And do
was
you think
built.
it'll get visual effects?
No, it won't get visual effects because it wasn't nominated.
No, it wasn't nominated.
No, but Avatar's going to get visual effects.
Yeah, of course.
Maybe Sinners. I doubt it. I doubt it. It's probably going to go to Avatar.
All right, let's do the documentary. I got
Well, this is.
2 out of 5.
I only got
Oh,
one.
you got one. You're even worse
Yeah,
than me.
I
Oh
did
my
worse
God.
because I listened to Eric. I should have. I would have had three.
I had the perfect neighbor in Alabama Solution. I cannot believe they didn't have cover up. I can't believe it.
I'm not surprised. Both of those Netflix movies weren't going to get in. It was a matter of do you think that Perfect Neighbor or Cover Up's going to get in? I picked Cover Up because I thought Perfect Neighbor is like that front runner that nobody watches. I also was stupid and I didn't make last second moves, which I was so focused on the other categories I forgot to put in the Mr. Putin movie. You
Hmm.
know what I mean? Which is right there in the title. That's such a
Yeah,
layup
I
for
didn't even
them.
put it in there either. It's just
I had
stupid.
Alabama Solution for the longest time.
Mm.
And then like Eric's like, it's not gonna happen. And
I had
so
that
this is
one. That's
so
fine.
this is what I'm telling you, listeners. Don't listen to Eric Anderson. He'll lead you astray. Clip that, Christina, and put that as my new ringtone.
But
Don't
there's
trust
this
Eric
is such
Anderson.
a weird. I never get. I don't know what this group is thinking any year.
I don't know either. I think that they're as bad as the song group because they're always changing.
Hmm.
I don't know. I can't explain it. But I do think now the winner is very easy. It's the perfect neighbor.
Perfect neighbor. Yeah,
Because if the
that's the most
popular
seen.
film gets in like a Summer of Soul, if that gets in there, then
You don't
it's
think
good.
Putin?
Maybe off the name, but I think Perfect Neighbor. It's on Netflix. Everybody's seen it. That's just the one. Very timely topic.
Hmm. Yeah, no.
Though, didn't it have like some sort of controversy behind it about the way it was filmed or something? Am I wrong about that? Didn't I
Yeah,
read some?
there's apparently a I have actually not read that. I heard it for the first time yesterday. Sean was talking about
Yeah,
something about the making of it or the editing and some controversy. I have to look
yeah.
that up because I
I'll
actually
have to look
missed
it
it.
up too. I heard that as well. Um, you know, but depends on how big of a controversy that is. If it's just something, you know, hopefully it's hopefully it's nothing uh drastic. You know what I mean?
No, right. Let's see, animated feature before we move on to best picture. There was no surprises in animates. Those 5 were just the ones they always were, feels like.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you
No,
have
for sure.
anyone other than
No, I
K-pop
went
Demon
five for
Hunters,
five in this
Zootopia. Yeah,
category.
me too. I can't
You know.
believe I went 5 for 5 in that category, but not in documentary. Something's wrong.
Well, I mean, it's easier to go five for five in that category because, I mean, because it was kind of a slam dunk and it was a bad year for animation.
Hmm.
You know, it really was. K-pop Demon Hunter, congratulations. You're a good movie. That's not. It's not a shot at them, but it was a rough year for animated feature. Hopefully we have some good ones this year in 26 because my God, 25 was rough.
All right, what was your best picture tally?
My best picture tally was 9 for 10. F1 screwed me over. I was almost 10 for 10.
I had 8 for 10. F1 screwed me over also.
What else didn't you have in there?
I didn't put in Begonia. I put in It Was Just an Accident and
Okay, so yeah,
Weapons.
weapons and it was just an accident. Okay.
Hmm.
Yeah, Begonia just seemed to be getting stronger. And then that stupid score nomination and that stupid screenplay nomination and that stupid Emma Stone nomination. Just all stupid. I don't like that is truly everybody out there has been like, F1's the worst movie to get in the picture. I'm like, no,
Look,
it's it's Begonia.
Begonia. And the thing is that I had a good time watching F1. I still didn't put it into Best Picture.
No, but it makes sense for like it's the Maverick crew and it made money and I don't
Yeah, well,
know.
so did
I think it
Sinners.
was it's true, and I think that those two represent the blockbusters.
Hmm.
We only really had one blockbuster, and Sean Fennessy was right until he wasn't because Sean took it out at the last second and he put in weapons. But
That's
um,
exactly what I did.
it makes sense. Do I like it? No. Does it make sense? Yes. Is it a bad movie? No. But like when you compare it to really the top like 7, 8 films in here, when you're really, if you take Begonia out and you take F1 out, those 8 films, yes, Christina, even Frankenstein, have technical brilliance, have performances that are really great. They're from, I think, great filmmakers at, using the peak of their powers to create something very personal and deep. And then, and you have this international films and whatnot. And then F1 feels like something that they made in a boardroom after Top Gun Maverick did really well. The international bit of that as well too, like the international sport of it all seemed to probably maybe factor some of that in. And then I guess, if you like that sort of Yorgos Lanthimos shit, that you could really, go with that with Begonia too. But the problem is that like it was just an accident would have had to make that history. It just fell apart towards the end.
Yeah, I just still thought that.
Weapons was a horror film. It was biased, there. Blue Moon was too small.
Yeah, that.
Sorry Baby, that wasn't ever gonna happen. And yeah, it ended up being that, but it's so weird that that's the number 10 film. It really is it's like, and then F1, you're like, it's weird. It's not like I saw some people like, this is the worst nominated film in the last 20 minutes. I'm like, no, it's just a weird film to put in, but it doesn't mean that it's a bad movie, you know? So
And we already talked about it, but I guess we're both still going with One Battle. We'll take Best Picture.
I guess.
Hmm.
Do you think Sinners could beat it now?
It could, absolutely.
I think it could.
Which is the more divisive of the two, would you say? What's your feeling?
Well, that's the thing is like Sinners had its divisiveness
I
when it
know,
came
that's what
out.
I'm saying. That's
One Battles had its somewhat detractor. I think a lot of One Battle After Another's detractors had just been from Sinners fans and people that love Sinners and want Sinners to win. I don't actually think it's come from a consensus amount of people. It's come from a vocal minority.
Clayton is 100% that it's going to be Sinners.
Well, he also
Wasn't
had
he?
Hamnet a couple of weeks ago. So like, and he also didn't put One Battle in any category whatsoever when he did his pre-predictions going into Telluride. He has not been on the train of that. Most of them have not been on that train. Feinberg was the same. Pete Hammond was the same. The trades were not in the bag for One Battle After Another, and people didn't even think it was going to get nominated for a single award. So technically, it's overperformed, just like Sinners has, because there are a lot of people that didn't think Sinners was going to perform as well as it did too. It's just sort of the narrative that's built with Warner Brothers and how it's defied the odds of it. I think that Sinners has a path, but One Battle has a more of a path in the way in which we've seen winners in the modern era. It has a screenplay win, director win, editing, picture, and it has three bites at the apple, realistic bites at the apple for acting prizes. I don't think Delroy Lindo, I don't think Wumi Musaka and are going to win. I think Michael B. Jordan's like third in a race that's probably Timothy Chalamet's. And if not, it's Leonardo DiCaprio. I think that Benicio del Toro is still strong and can win SAG and or win BAFTA. I think that still could happen. But really, Tiana Taylor is, I think, going to win that Oscar. And I've said that all season long, which Clayton Davis and others have said that was not going to happen. They all thought Ariana Grande was going to win at a certain point. If you look at that, look how that turned out. But anyway, I think if Tiana Taylor wins that Oscar, then it's a picture, director, screenplay, editing, and Tiana Taylor. That's five. And I think that could happen. And then, what if it carries Leo? That's six. If it's Benicio, that's six. What if they all three win? That's seven. The acting branch has not. We have to remember also when we're picking SAG, like everyone's going to think, oh, it's Sinners.
Mm-hmm.
One Battle After Another broke the SAG record. They love that film. Love it. They love it. You know what I mean? As Lockjaw would say, they'll love it. You know? So I'm just going to say the guilds look like it's in One Battle's favor. But if the tide turns, then that's when you're really going to have it. Sinners probably isn't going to have a great day at BAFTA. If it doesn't have a great day at SAG and it loses PGA, that's where it is. But like if there's a split where like SAG Ensemble goes to Sinners, PGA um goes to One
One
Battle.
battle.
But if BAFTA goes with like Hamnet, then we're gonna have a bigger
We have a long
conversation.
road ahead of
But it
us.
feels like, based off of how everything is, even after these 16 nominations, we're saying that like 16 nominations is so big and 13 nominations is nothing.
Hmm.
Like those are the only two films. Like, you know what I mean? Like Christina,
Yeah.
like people are logically saying like 16 and 13 is a river of hills in between each other. I'm like, no, it's not, because that movie, Sinners, had more of an opportunity to get to 16, to get to 15. One Battle did not. And we saw it at CCA too. And I'm not saying CCA is the same thing as the Academy, but we've seen also at places where Sinners has garnered tons of nominations. And then One Battle After Another is second place to it, and then wins picture and director and screenplay and actor, and then it's done. So it's not over yet. I think whatever wins will be great. Obviously, I want PTA to win something. And I think One Battle After Another makes more sense as a best picture on paper. And it makes just more sense in general. I think the international audience is more likely to vote for One Battle After Another higher on a preferential ballot. So that's why I think it's going to win. But sure, if Sinners Fever just grabs a hold of everybody, then it can win. I also think too, I'm gonna give Christina something here, and she's gonna go, whoa. If there is a movie to upset the Warner Brothers apple cart, it's sentimental value
I think so
because
too. We've
because
been
it could
talking and
win.
we talked about that
I
already
said
in
it
this
couldn't,
summer.
but now it has a path because it can win original screenplay and it can win Stellan Skarsgård. And depending on how the
On a
Brits,
preferential ballot, it could be the one
it could
that
be very
gets
high.
highest up.
And also, I'll say it because nobody else will. And if you say anything against Jesse Buckley, you're blasphemous. What if Renato Reinsville won the BAFTA? The BAFTA on that home turf there. Very possible.
Mm,
Because
I don't think so.
if I think it could, I think it could
Over Jesse?
because, yeah, because they are persnickety when it comes to Shakespeare.
Shakespeare? Yeah, that's the only
And
reason.
there is a like contingent within that BAFTA-ness that could just go, I don't like this. There is this growing love for sentimental value, and it has always been there. And there are detractors against Hamnet. I think Buckley will sweep, but if that happened, you'd have to like kind of look out, like in the corner of your eye, and just be like, what's happening here with sentimental value? But then also, sentimental value's got a massive race that it has to fight because it has to fight now the Brazilians. So good luck with
Yeah,
that.
good luck with that. We know. Fun times ahead, Ryan. Thank you so much for being here on my 500th episode, and many more to come. Tell everyone where they can continue reading and listening to everything you're doing.
You can find me for the next 2 months, I guess,
Shivering.
shivering, shaking, hungering, and thirsting for an end to this damn award season. I'm already fed up with it. I just want it to end.
Well, we always
Um,
are at this
I
time.
know. Even if my films win, I'll be like, cool, putting those on the shelf and not talking about them for 5 years. But you can find me on Twitter. I don't know if you want to find me on Twitter right now. Instagram, Blue Sky, Letterbox at Ryan McQuade 77. Find out my work at awardswatch.com. We have the Director Watch podcast. We just wrapped up Warren Beatty. We're starting Chantel Ackerman. Two dum dums like myself and Jay talking about minimalist French female filmmaking. Come for all the laughs on that show. Main show is on Mondays and throughout the week over at awardswatch.com. Just follow us all there. Christina also was just a guest on our Bone Temple episode. So please go and listen to that. We're gonna
That
have
was fun.
Christina on later in the year to do some more stuff. It should be a lot of fun.
And you can, of course, listen to more of my 500s at popcultureconfidential.com. I'm on Instagram and Twitter at Christina Biro. And thank you so much. See you soon.
Thank you.